The US Bank Altitude Reserve Card has some big problems. Unfortunately, they still have those big problems, despite the fact I've done two prior videos on this topic. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, I'll put links up top and down below where you can see those prior videos. But to give a brief summary, since the start of 2024, some cardholders have only had their mobile wallet transactions granted 1x, although the card is supposed to grant 3x on mobile wallet transactions. Hi, everybody. DUGROZ here with DUGROZ Reports. Since the last update, I have a little more information. I have received a letter directly from the folks at US Bank, and I'll go over what that says after my last inquest. I will also go over my deep dive calculations on this topic. Before we dive in, though, on this particular YouTube channel, I talk about credit card, points, miles, cashback, travel, etc. If that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and please click the thumbs up button. Let's dive in. So in my last video, I called customer service at US Bank, asked them if they'd fixed the problem yet. Short answer, no. And then I also asked them to put in a ticket to look into the matter. They said they would, and they would mail me a written response. During that phone call, I found out that US Bank has a strange way of displaying point totals on their statement. They don't show you the points you earned in that statement combined with the prior total. What they do is show those two amounts separately. So what you're actually looking at is the total from the prior month and the points earnings in the current statement separately. And I'll get into the letter, which gives a little bit of detail on that in just a few moments. Now, I will give you a warning. This does get kind of mathy and nerdy, but I have to get mathy and nerdy to get the right answer. So what did US Bank say in their letter to me? They said, the total as of listed in the points box on your statement is the points balance effective as of the date listed. This date is the day prior to the statement date. This information has always been reflected as such. Therefore, to calculate your rewards balance as of the statement date, you need to add the total as of points to the earned on this statement points. And then just some boilerplate templates about how to contact us or view your account information online. What was missing that was noteworthy? Zero discussion at all, admitting that they have the points posting problem, and no comment whatsoever on the resolution of that problem. So let's turn to the spreadsheet now. We're going to look at a spreadsheet that I personally made with the numbers. If you don't care about the calculations, I'll put a timestamp somewhere here on the screen to cut to the chase if you just want the solution. But I thought it was important that I go over the fact that I confirmed these numbers with my own toil. So here we go. The problem with the points not posting correctly started on or very close to January 1st, 2024. I speculate it started on January 1st, but all I can do is go off my own personal statement, and I didn't make any transactions on that date. But by at least the 3rd, there was a problem. So my statements close around the 8th or so of each month. So I have to go back to December 8th of 2023 to have the correct information. And as of that date, it showed that I had earned a little over 1,800 points, and I had 1,200 points on the statement. Now, based on what they said in the phone call and the letter, to know how many points I have as soon as the statement closes, I have to add those both together, which came out to 14,161. By the way, I think that's a terrible idea. What statement doesn't say how many points you have once the statement has closed, but instead gives you how many points you had as the total the day before the statement closes? That just seems archaic and illogical. Now, I made a column here that says what the points earned should be, and back in December, it was exactly the same as what the points earned were, and I confirmed that. So everything on the December 8th statement was correct. The first problem comes with my statement, which closed on the 9th. I'm not sure why it closed on the 9th instead of the 8th, but for whatever reason it did. Maybe it fell on a holiday or a weekday or something, a weekend or something like that. So It said I earned 1,848 points and a little over 14,000 on the statement, so my total should have been 16,009. However, I went back and manually added up every transaction. Now, it's actually pretty easy because I only use the Altitude Reserve for mobile wallet on my phone or travel, and those are both 3x categories. So basically, every single dollar that I spend should be at 3x. And I double checked every transaction since this issue started to make sure that was the case. It was. So I should have earned 2,260 points by the January 9th statement. So we're a little short here. We're not dramatically short, somewhere around 400 points short. The sum of both should have been 16,421, but it was only 16,009. So just over 400 points short. The problem continued from the period between January 9th and January 28th or so, which lapped into the next statement. Now, in my case, the problem went away somewhere around January 29th. Something that you might want to try if you're having this problem is delete the card from your mobile wallet and then manually re-add it. Don't click the button that says add it back in, like type in all the numbers from scratch. I did that about 3 days before the problem was resolved for me. Now, whether it was coincidental or whether that action caused it to resolve, I honestly don't know. But as of my last video, some people were still having issues, even though my issue has stopped. It just hasn't been corrected retroactively. So as of the 2/8 statement, it said I had earned 1,947 points. I had a little over 16,000 on the statement, which brings the sum of both to 17,956. That's not right. I should have earned 2,576 on that statement. So the earnings were off by over 600 points. So on the prior statement, it was 400-ish. This statement, it was 600-ish. The sum of both, as showing on the statement, was 17,956, but the sum of both should have been 18,997 points. Now, this figure here, the sum of both, as of today, I'm recording this on February 28th, 2024, matches what is showing online, both on my app as well as the website. So the sum of both is what's showing online, but the figure is still wrong. It should be this figure here, 18,997 through the end of the last statement, but it's only showing 17,956. So that is a difference between the figure that should be showing and is showing of 1,041. So I'm still missing a little over 1,000 points. Now, again, all the transactions since January 29th have posted correctly, but that period that was between January 1st and January 29th-ish is still wrong, and they have not retroactively made up for it. Now, the reason why it's only a little over 1,000 points is because once I noticed the issue, I mostly stopped using the card. I actually had very few transactions in that time frame. So if I think about it this way, what's missing? Well, if I cash out those 1,041 points, it would be $10.41. If I use it on real-time rewards or in the US Bank travel portal, it would be $15.62. Now, honestly, if I was just a guy using the card, $10 isn't even worth my time. I would probably just let it go. The only reason I'm pursuing it is because I'm a YouTuber and I feel like I'm the only person publicly advocating for this. I literally haven't seen it on Doctor of Credit. I haven't seen it on Frequent Miler. It seems like anecdotally, just from people who have contacted me or put comments on my video, it doesn't affect everyone. It affects somewhere between a third, maybe 40% of people with the card. But I have had a couple people reach out and tell me they have a substantial number of points missing. Not just 1,000, but like tens of thousands of points missing. So I feel really bad for those people. Just one more piece of data here. The pending points that are showing online shows 1,618, which seems about right. I did some rough head calculation math, came to 1,566, but I did a lot of rounding to the nearest whole dollar and those kind of things. So again, what is pending, what's being earned right now is correct for me. We just have to go fix that retroactive error. Now, there's also a calculation online that shows how much I've earned in 2024. That's only based on statement closes in 2024. My calculation is 4,836. The website still shows 3,795, which is a difference of 1,041. So I'm glad to report that both ways, adding up all the statements based on earned this year, they both show a difference of 1,041 points that are missing. Summary: in my case, my US Bank Altitude Reserve card was only posting as 1x on mobile wallet transactions between January 1st, 2024 and roughly January 29th, 2024. From that point forward, it posted the 3x correctly. However, US Bank has not gone back and retroactively fixed the issue to credit the missing points to me. I manually calculated all the transactions and determined that I am missing 1,041 points. That is an anecdote that only applies to me. I have had other people put comments down below and say things like they are still missing points, or in a few cases, their points still aren't posting correctly. So, obviously, for some people, this is still an issue. That's how it has impacted me. Now, in my judgment, I'll be very candid. I loved US Bank, but this does cause my confidence in them to wane somewhat. It reflects very badly, and it has now been almost 2 months since this issue started. There's no other way to put it. That is simply unacceptable, US Bank. So if any US Bank representatives are listening, feel free to reach out to me, contact me, put a comment down below, and I'd be happy to hear what you're doing to solve this matter. Obviously, in the letter you sent me, you talked about how the statements work, but there was no discussion regarding fixing this issue. To make matters more complex for me, my statement that was dated February 8th was my annual plan year closing statement. So I had my annual fee show up. I have to make my retention call in the next 8 to 10 days. So I'm not sure how that's going to factor in. Historically, they've offered me a retention offer of at least 5,000 points. We'll see if it's more. I will certainly bring this up and ask for more. I don't know if they'll grant it, though. We'll see if their logic can take that into consideration or not. Put comments in this video if you have been impacted. Even if you're not impacted but have the US Bank Altitude Reserve, I'd still like to hear from you so that I know what percentage of people are impacted. Because frankly, as far as I can tell, I'm the only outlet covering this. There are a few maybe Reddit pages or those kind of things, but the big boys don't really seem to be talking about this at all. So maybe I can help a little bit. If you get any sort of value out of videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. And as always, may your spending be frugal and may your points be plenteous.